Alright, so what I have for you guys this week is not a painting, but I want to introduce you to this cool resource or tool that we're going to be using probably in some of the upcoming weeks here. And that is the Google Art Project. And I don't know if you guys have already heard of this or if this is something that people have already been using, but it's something I discovered a few weeks ago, and it's really a great resource, especially for people like like me. I don't live in a major city, so I don't have access to a lot of huge museums. And even living in the United States to some extent limits us when you've got a lot of famous paintings, not all of them, but a lot of them in Europe, in museums where we're not always able to see them. So the Google Art Project is a good way to learn a little bit more about some of the collections at some of the major museums throughout the world. And there's a few different ways you can search this. You can see up here we have this, you can search by collection, that is by specific museums, or you can look for specific artists or specific artworks. So what I like to do is go ahead and click on collection, and then we have all the various participating museums in this project. So let's see. So like one of my favorite museums is the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. So you click on the museum, and then here we see a sampling of some of the different pictures or paintings that are on display here for us to see. And it doesn't have every single painting or piece of artwork, right, that's in the museum. I'm not exactly sure how the museum decides specifically which paintings they want to display on here, and I know that there's some that aren't shown because of, copyright or whatever. But most of them have a pretty good assortment, and they have a lot of the major paintings that you would be familiar with. And this museum view function is, in theory, really cool, and practically speaking is somewhat limited, I think. Let's see, let's go to level 5 here, I think has the good stuff. Okay, so here we are on the 5th floor. And it's kind of cool because you can actually sort of walk through the museum, right, and see what it would look like if you were actually there. And this is what I was saying before about how when you're not living in a major city, you don't have the opportunity to visit a lot of these institutions, but they've got fantastic paintings. So like up ahead here on this wall, we can see Van Gogh's Starry Night. And once you get it, and like I said, it's kind of a pain in some ways. Let's see here. So once you sort of zoom in here, you can click on this plus button, and it will tell you more about the painting. So it takes us to this page here, and it gives you a nice, large, high-resolution image of the painting, which is great because a lot of times that's harder to find than you would think on the internet. You can look up a painting, but you don't really get to appreciate a lot of the detail unless you have a high-resolution version of the image like this, where we can really zoom in really close, and you can actually see. Try not to make you sick here. You can see a lot of the detail in the brushwork with, especially with a painter like Van Gogh. That's extremely important, is to be able to appreciate the brushwork here. So this is similar to what we used when we were doing the Garden of Earthly Delights. A really good high-resolution image where you can really get up close and personal with a lot of these pieces of art. And if you click on this Details button, then it takes you to additional resources. So like here's a video that's actually put out by MoMA about this painting, and there's various other details. You can click on the map and see where Van Gogh lived. And then there's other different links here for, various sources of information from different sources, style, medium, etc. So it's a really great resource. And like I said, you can search by collection. If you have a particular artist you want to look for, you can search by artist name. Or you can just kind of browse through the various paintings on here. It looks like they have about 32,000 pieces of artwork on this site. And I don't know how many museums participate in this. Looks like about 155 different museums from across the world. So check this out. This is, like I said, something that we'll be using, I think, in the coming weeks. and that I encourage you to just sort of explore. There's functions where you can make your own galleries of your favorite paintings. Let's see, this page kind of is showing you some of the different participating museums. So like you see here, a lot of museums over in Western Europe, and then some over in the Eastern and Central United States. And these user galleries are galleries that have been put together by other individuals, and these are sort of a hit or miss. Some of them are interesting, some of them aren't. So play around with this. You can make an account, and we will see you again next week with an actual painting. Have a great week, everybody.